Hello, welcome everybody to Battle Pirates Crib. We're going to talk about some of the new stuff we're getting in the FM cycle. I'm sure we'll talk about the Praetorian, what we have available to build with it, what we don't, and VXP Weekend. Get a chance to rank them up, and we'll go from there. Joined today with Mike. Aussie has something he's has to do this morning. He'll be back on Friday.
Well, but, you are hurting. Okay.
What?
So you were hurting. Okay.
Alrighty. Yeah, if you want to share the slides.
I think they're on share this time.
Nope.
Wait, well, I see them on my tube.
Well, you need to share them and
I see it on my YouTube's on a separate screen.
Okay, for some reason it's not showing here. Okay. That's very odd. So, okay, Hangouts is acting quite funky today. Well, alrighty, well, let's go to the...
hang on 1 second. Let's make sure that... Yep, I see.
Yeah, they can see it, but okay, all good, all good. All right, bug fixes. This is something I think the players have... It's sort of complicated. What's happened is the stacking of the Nemesis slowdown aura of 15 per ship, negative 15% combat speed, are not stacking correctly. So towards the beginning of this, they made some changes to the ships within the target. So all the ships within the target have tactical field resistance. So what they did is they lowered the tactical field resistance, which is, it feels, I don't like the whole idea that they provide us with numbers saying we get negative 15% combat speed on all these ships, which should stack up to 45. And no, more than that, 60. Wait, 60. Or no, more than 60. It's 75. So, but they have resistance to it. They should have told us instead of 15 each, it was 3 each or something of that nature. So that's why you're not seeing as much of a slowdown effect as you're expecting. So it's the fact that they provide us numbers and then we get all these numbers that we don't see with the PvE targets is quite maddening. The biggest problem I had was, I hit the target with like 2 ships and I'm like, okay, I don't need to go any faster. Once I get all these combat speed debuffs in, this is a good speed. But then you realize once you have 5, it's not really doing nearly what you were told it was going to do. So hopefully in the future, they'll be more straightforward with our design. So, yeah. So,
I did notice that. What? I did notice that while I was trying to run from them.
Yeah.
It's like I thought they're supposed to slow down. They didn't appear to slow down very much.
Yeah, they slow down minimally. And yeah, sometimes it looks like they speed up and slow down within the field. It's definitely a little quirky. And yeah, I just hope in the future, if we are told that we're going to get a debuff like this, that we can sort of plan around and design around, that they don't have something hidden in the background that is, I'd rather be told what the real numbers are and don't give them a debuff or give them resistance against it, because then, what am I doing all this work trying to scale up from 2 ships to 5 ships? Doesn't make a lot of sense. So hopefully in the future they will do something different. Conquest yard, shipyards visually resetting to full attack, full after attack. This is only visual. I don't know that that happened to me, but I'm sure it happened to some other people. So that should have been fixed. And the one I'm happiest about is the shipyard and conquest yard will now begin to auto repair once they're destroyed, even when you're offline. Just like it happens, they say it's the same mechanic that occurs in Bounty. Because I had the question of what happens if it's damaged but not destroyed. I'm not sure what happens there. But this is good news. I'm surprised they did it for the conquest yard. I was assuming they would do it for the shipyard. So I think it actually might get more people into PvP because now they don't have to worry about somebody coming back and hitting their base again and losing huge amounts of time off of their PvE builds. But now it's both PvE and PvP builds. So I guess good news for most people.
That ranks up there for me with, I don't get hit that often, but it's right up there with sniping for me.
Yeah. Yeah. Which is also some people didn't like the idea. I think this is probably, if they'd just done the base shipyard, probably wouldn't have any controversy at all. But now the conquest yard and the shipyard might have some people thinking the conquest yard maybe shouldn't do that, but oh well. For frenzy auras, berserk effect now will only visually show in frenzied. Okay. I'm assuming this is talking about the eradicators, but we do have the Praetorian that's out right now that does have a frenzy effect. So there was a sort of a typo in the Praetorian stacks. The bottom one that adds defenses stacks to 5, and they also included a range of 50 in there. Because before it didn't make any sense. It had no range and an aura stack of 1. And I asked him, why don't you just put this in the defensive stat block? And I guess it was an oversight. So it actually provides a huge amount of defense. So the more you have, the more defense you're going to have. So it's we'll talk a little bit more about the Praetorian as we move on. But there is going to be a flagship released. So probably not advantageous for most people to build all 5, but having 4 will definitely help your defensive survivability. So, anything on any of this, Mike?
Nope.
Okay.
Nope, just that conquest yard thing's a good thing.
Yeah.
For me.
Okay. Well, let's move on then. See, the problem is I can't see the slides until you guys do, but I'm not sure why that is. Here we go. So there might be a little break here and there. I'm trying to keep the calendar that Chris created up to date with things that have changed. Some of the changes that we've seen here is this time is the new building content and price adjustments was supposed to come out this update. It's been moved till 5/28 or the 9/22 update. And this update where we're also supposed to see new mega technology that is no longer on the calendar anywhere. The other new thing is a potential for the 9/23 update that they would transition the Siege World Map targets over to our most recent, to our Eradicators and Shrikes and whatnot. So, it is what it is. And now we do got a little information, and we're going to get a lot more information tomorrow on what our next cycle might look like. If you give us one click, Mike. And again, sorry for the delay. There's something going on with Hangouts. That's I don't see this. Normally, there's about a 5-second differentiation between these things, so I can only see them when you guys see them. I asked Golden Doodle what was going to happen after the next raid, and he's doing a write-up that I'll post this week, either today or tomorrow. And we are transitioning to skirmish, but for the higher targets, I'm not sure if it's just the most, just the highest targets will be skirmish, sort of our S targets where you need to have full builds, and the remainder of them would be assault. I don't know why he said or siege. Maybe there's going to be different layers of targets at different types. This has me a little bit worried. And I guess no reason to get too worried about it until we actually see the write-up My worry is that if you don't have the flag and the and 4 fully built ships, that you won't be able to do any of the skirmish targets, and you'll be forced to continue with the assault ones, and who knows what the point values are going to be. But this is what's happening. But again, keep your eye on the forum, and either today or tomorrow we'll get more info. This doesn't appear to feel set in stone. He's putting this out for feedback from the community. So keep an eye out and see what he has to say. But I definitely see some potential downfalls if it's not delivered correctly. So, you have any thoughts on this one, Mike?
Well, not that can be answered. I mean, it's like it says they're going to rotate these targets in. So that means just speculating they might have for a few hours, they'll have a assault target, and then in a few hours, all those assaults will go away and we'll have siege.
I don't think it's going to be hourly. I think it would be by the raid, like raid cycles.
Okay.
So that they might rotate in. The new cycle might be the top one, and then the next cycle is going to, or the next, and then the next level down it would be the previous one. So it'd be, and then the next time they would rotate it.
So
I don't see them
all
doing
be on the map at the same time.
Yeah,
So there will
yeah.
be
For the whole, yeah. I mean, again, we'll see more in the next day or two on this.
Yeah.
I just wouldn't imagine them rotating them on an hourly basis. When I read this, I more thought on the either the raid, like a raid, or the whole raid cycle.
Yeah.
That sort of rotation. I don't see them. That would be pretty crazy if they did do it on an hourly basis.
Yeah, or even a timed basis. I like the having everything on the map at one time, and then maybe rotating the difficulty levels of them, because obviously different people sleep at different times, and different people are good at different targets.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you always
Again,
have something to
I've
go
seen
after.
nothing to indicate it's going to be hourly or anything within the day. So,
Got it.
The other thing that that might be of is some of the stuff they've done historically, whereas they would put some of the stuff in your campaign tower that might be, in this example, assault, while you have. It would be nice if we had the full gamut of the skirmish stuff on the map with all the different levels, and then have the ability for not quite the same points reduction we've seen in the past, but a reasonable points, relative points, to have those in a campaign tower that we could do. Because this has some possibilities for it to be a little hinky, and
it could go sour.
Yeah. So, alrighty, let's move on.
Okay, coming up.
Okie dokie.
Let's see. I can look at my tube and tell you as soon as I hit the tubes. It's changed now.
Okay. As we saw in the schedule of the calendar, we're getting a full 4 cycles this month. So the raid is going to happen on June 12th. So we get a little extra time than we did the previous month. So just so you get some extra tokens, just so everybody knows, so we can move on.
Yep, that's okay.
Yep.
All right. Not yet. Changing now. Okay.
Okay. VXP Weekend. We should expect the same targets that we saw last time. I was, normally we were hitting with our assault stuff. So we were used to doing penetrative and corrosive damage to these targets. Now, most likely, people are going to be trying to rank up their Praetorians, which do explosive and have over 50 million armor. So it should be tricky. It might be tricky. I don't know. We'll see when we get there. Somebody asked me for the approach that I talked about, I think 2 months ago, because this is a fairly easy VXP. I just couldn't find any screenshots of the target. I think I had them before, and I just couldn't find them again. But hopefully on Friday, if you have problems with it, but this can be done for very little damage using a lot of the same techniques that you used in the raid, where you use like a faster ship. I would probably still use my Arch Nemesis to bait ships past my Praetoriums that are hidden in the clouds. And then, but again, we don't know. The big unknown at this point is how much damage your ships are going to be able to do to them due to the difference in damage type. So the only thing that you would really need in that, because the Praetorians empty have a combat speed of 35, which is very similar to what the Saturns have. And so I think you could still pop from cloud to cloud, or fog bank to fog bank, or cloud to cloud without any problems. I target the bottom two ships on the right and bait them and have them come past me, and find that to be the easiest. But I'm sorry I don't have the picture. I'll have the picture on Friday, or we'll walk through it. Hopefully it's pretty easy. So yeah, like Cuddle says, kill a ship or two and leave. These do have 50,000 armor, and it's a different damage type, so that's the only thing that makes me a little bit leery. So, all right, let's move on to the next one, Mike. But again, we'll have more on this on Friday if anybody's having any issues. So you'll still have another
It's up
30 hours. You have any thoughts on Insidious Waters?
it wasn't that bad. The targets just take so long to do. That was the only thing that really aggravated the heck out of me.
Yeah, they're long targets, even if you're trying to, and it took a lot of time, even if you're hitting the top targets and don't have a lot of, because I was doing the 106s with my Nemesis for, I know a lot of people had some instant repair on the map. Mine was, I basically had to take one ship out and then repair the rest in the dock, and then put that ship in and repair it again. But it was still waiting for that ghost crawler to go back to position, and all that stuff was, and when it would get caught up on a wall, then you had to move again. It was a lot of back and forth, and I'm a little worried about what happens when these targets hit a time limited campaign. I hope they pay a lot of attention to how the two ships function differently, both over time, and how easy it is to do one versus another. Because in the last raid cycle, we saw a lot of players with the Saturns were able to do both targets for instant repair on the map. I mean, some people were able to do that with the Nemesis, but the Nemesis was a lot trickier. You had to get a lot luckier to both outrun everything, take out the ghost crawler support building, and be stuck in the corner with two ghost crawlers and a fleet of other ships after you, and not take a significant amount of damage. So it was much higher risk that you're going to get, pretty well pummeled if you do the 106 that way. So yeah, party fits. Yeah, there'll be two new next targets as usual, and hopefully it'll be a little bit more even. But yeah, yeah. And I had Ben do that for me in some of the 104s as well, because it's real. The Saturn players could, in about 45 seconds, could take the ghost crawlers out of the 104s. And then it was pretty easy for a player with the Nemesis to take out the rest of the map. But it was those first two ghost crawlers that were really tricky for a lot of the players.
And even the shrouded ships with the Saturns, that was kind of cool, where the aura took them right out.
Yeah, and I'm curious if that'll be around next time. I wonder if that was, if that was an undocumented feature or it was intentional. It's hard to tell at times
Quite
with
possible.
these things.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was interesting though.
Yeah. Okay.
I pushed a
Well,
button.
we'll talk a little bit more. There's going to be there's some tech that's available in the FM that will provide a little escalation for us in the next raid cycle, or the next raid, not the next raid cycle. So, and that'll be on the next slide. It's the Arch Nemesis weapon, which is it's not limited, but it has an equip cap of 2. It's 2.5 million in the FM in tier 5. It does 3.15 times the damage of our normal D76X, and it's added in 10% splash, which should be helpful, or not 10%, but a radius of 10 on the splash, which is fairly small, but it should be significant as far as dealing with the high evade of the Viperfish. It's got a 13-hour build, and were you about to say, Mike?
Yeah, I was going to ask if you saw the weight difference yet, or is there a weight difference?
No, it's 2420 for both of them.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Then we shouldn't have an issue.
No. All the other stats are the same besides the 2 that I mentioned. So go out and get them. It's a little complicated for me because I was about to remove all of the damage modifier and damage specials on my Arch Nemesis. And this made me think about it again. I'm not really sure because I was actually going to replace it with Evade. And Dirty Puller, we can only get 1 per week. Not with this one. It's not a limited blueprint. So you only need to get 1 forever, but you can only put 2 on your ship. So
and you likely only have 2 weapons on there anyway, right? If I recall correctly.
Personally, I have 2, but a lot of people have more and limited their MS DS3s down to 3 or 4. I went with 6, just not knowing what's coming next.
Yep, I did too. Okay.
So, alrighty. But as I was saying, I was planning to remove all my damage increasing specials off my Arch and replace it with Evade, since we've seen that the flagship and the number 5 ship seem to take more accuracy-based damage than the rest of them. So I'm still undecided how I'm going to move with this, but that was my original plan. But I don't know with this massive damage increase that I can have on my Arch if I want to go that way. So. And,
I noticed the number 5 ship was taking damage too. So
yeah,
good that you said it confirms it. Okay.
Okay.
Shall I move on?
Yeah, let's move on to the
when it comes up. It will be in a second.
And we have a
there you go.
A new flagship weapon for the Rock Ring Saturn. The only change on this one, we had 2 changes on the previous one, is just the multiply the damage by 3.15. And this is a more of an obvious no-brainer because the Rock Ring Saturn has a cap of 2 as far as their countermeasures. So there wouldn't be a reason to want to take off your damage specials for that. So, yeah, we're to see straight damage increase on this one. So, and again, this one is 2.5 million. And again, it's not limited, and you can only put 2 on the ship. All right, here comes the interesting, some of the interesting ones. D7M. We see a significant increase in weight over the D6M and a significant increase in the penetrating survival. It's tier 8, 0 repair, It is a little hefty relative to the D6M, 125 to 489. But then you want to compare it to, well, the main assault armor is the folded ferrite F1. Now you see some significant increase in penetrating from 720 to 1600. And this is another interesting one. It might sort of answer my question on what I was going to do with my lead ship and my fifth ship. Maybe instead of going to evade, maybe I drop one of my folded ferrites and put this on and take less damage on those two ships that appear to be getting just penetrating damage. And then the last one is comparing it to the D56M, which is what the mainstay of the our dragons is as far as swapping out. Same weight. Again, the D5XM has 22 minutes of repair. A lot of people are thinking about putting the D7M on their Praetorians. Again, we can only get one per week. The Praetorians have 6 armor slots each. So even if you're building 4, it's going to take you 24 weeks plus the raid weeks in order to fill up. So this is not your real Praetorian armor. This is more of a tuning armor. If you find out that you're taking more penetrative than explosive, you'll probably want to put that on eventually. But this is not your mainstay armor. We've yet to see the D6XM come out. And I hope it comes out soon because we have a, if everything holds to form, that's going to have like a 1 day, 9-hour build time, which for each ship is going to be about 8 days. So for 4 ships, you're talking over a month just to put the armor on it. So it should come out sooner than later. Personally, I'm not wasting any time putting armor on that ship at this point. I'm putting on the rockets in 4 slots, my non-countermeasure slots, and I'm putting on the 2 specials that came with it, the explosive battery and the Galil system, and that should hold me for a bit. I'm waiting for the tech to drop. I expected to see it in TLCs and other places, but that's already a lot of build time just to get all that done. So I'm hoping to see some other things come out soon. So anything on this one, Mike?
Nope. It's pretty obvious. It's going to take a while.
Okay. Alrighty, let's move on to the corrosive.
All right. Clicked it.
All right, we have a
And it's
tier 8 corrosive armor. And you're not a Saturn owner. Anybody out there, how would you use this? Because it's I think a lot of people are taking a large amount of missile damage. Wilbert says put on the Nemesis. Maybe. I'm not having more. My issue is missile damage than it is corrosive damage, so I wouldn't put that on mine.
So now I do get tagged with some corrosive.
Okay.
Because of drive style, probably, or the inability to drive, one of the two.
Yeah. Well, we're only going to get enough for. If you were going to put it on, you only get enough for 4, and that's a splash damage type of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't see a spot for it right now.
Yeah.
So. All right. Let's move on to the next one.
This says that was the end.
Okay. Alrighty. Well, I'll take you off of present, and I'm checking, and I was told by Jordy that there was new offers just released, so I'm going to refresh and see what those look like.
I may have them right here. So.
And I'm going to go ahead and provide the link in case anybody would like to join the show. There you go, in case anybody would like to join. So, if not, I guess we'll wind up once we...
Garrison build ×4 offer.
Garrison build. I don't know what that means.
Well, 1 day Garrison
What
build.
do you screen share? You want to screen share these?
I thought I stayed on screen. Yeah, it's on
Oh,
there.
there you go. Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, because for some reason I'm not... Okay, go ahead.
It's flipping back and forth for some reason, but...
Yeah, because I took you off present.
All right.
Okay.
So it's got Zinthonite armor, D6M, 2 of those.
Okay.
Gales 4, 2 of those, and Agility 4, 1 of those for $12.99 US.
Yeah. D6M. So I don't even know what this is for.
Mm-hmm.
And then Gales. Yeah. Move on. Yeah. None of this stuff seems to.
Then you got VXP token for the Praetorian, 10,000 VXP times 8. So it looks like for $10, it's probably enough to do 1, maybe.
Yeah, that's not even enough to do 1. That's not worth anything either.
Well, then you got the build tokens for the Praetorian.
24%. That's not
very good. No.
Yeah.
And
yeah, but I'm still on the other one. I'm sorry. What percentage was it? Okay, it's 27.
27. Well, it was 27%, but I wasn't going to correct you for 3.
Yeah, unless you're in a real hurry to get them out for some reason. I don't know.
That saves you about $1 a day.
Okay.
And then you get an opportunity for a 30 pack for 30% off, $100. I don't think so, but okay.
Yeah. I'm gonna take. I don't unless you see something. I'm gonna take you off present unless you see something that looks.
Yeah, I think everything else is the same as we had. The only new one was that first one, the Garrison build, if I'm correct.
Okay. Well, I guess that wraps it up. Unless anybody wants to come on the show, because it sounds like somebody opened a door downstairs. I'm not sure if you guys hear all that, but
did not hear that.
Okay, well, that's good. Maybe I got some sort of noise reduction working. So I can hear TVs in the house louder than you. So I'm glad it's working that way. All right. Well, I guess if nobody's going to join, I'm going to end the show. And we'll see you all on Friday. And I'll try to get some screenshots of the VXP targets. I've showed this a couple months ago, but I had somebody ask for it on Discord. So I guess we'll see y'all then, because it should be a really easy process, a free process. Doesn't take that much time because now we have a retreat button. But I would just recommend everybody get some weapons on them, on the Praetorians, and hide in the clouds. And I think you guys can figure it out. But I'll go through it more on Friday. And I hope you all have a good week, and we'll see you all Friday.
Take care, everybody.